when you were hospitalized. It was so difficult to not have you in this home and be a mother and be a wife without you, that when you came back, it made things so much more eternally concrete for me. So what you always say, bless your problems.
Good day, my friends. Welcome to the Now-ist Experience podcast. Today marks the most favorite day I've ever had shooting a podcast in my life. Today, we're going to have an intimate conversation with the soulmate of my life, the one and only Desiree Mandarino. We've been married 30 years. And I just thought, what a great idea to sit down together and to share some of the clues and the experiences that we've had and the techniques that we've kind of created in our own relationship to maybe serve you, or if you're not married, just a relationship with your friends or a connection with family members, or just things to serve you. Because the Now-ist mission is to be of service and to shine this light into the world. So welcome, my love. It's wild, isn't it?
It's hard to believe to do something for the first time after 30 years.
Well, you remember our good friend Ria, she says, when's the last time he did something for the first time? And what did she compare that to?
Living a great life. Well, I'm not surprised that you have me doing something new.
Because she's 90 and that was her secret to longevity, which is perfect because that brings in kind of the longevity of our relationship. We've been married 30 years. I think the average person that's married gets divorced 40 to 60% is the divorce rate. And first-time marriages, I think it's about 50%. So I think the world is struggling with staying married. And for some reason, and we both know the reason, God is the main reason that we've been able to stay together, because you can't do it alone. There's the two of us, egoic constructs in the world, trying to get my needs met, you're trying to get your needs met, and we clash. And that's what I think happens to most couples, is they just get caught up in not the service of the love, but the service of the individual. Is that what you found?
I feel your spirituality when I'm going crazy sometimes, and it calms me down. So to put God or spiritual feelings and soulfulness together definitely is part of what makes us work.
Yeah, most people, I think, take in their ideas of what marriage is, maybe because their past or their parents were divorced and had fighting and maybe addiction patterns and abuse and trauma, and they bring that all into their marriage and they don't realize it. That's where we kind of go back to our prayer life together. I know Gianna are the light of our life. The fruit of our love is Gianna, and we pray as a family together. We pray over meals, we pray before bedtime, we pray in the morning. We prayed right before we did this podcast. It's about the prayer life. I think that's missing in a lot of people's lives, is they don't have prayer.
Well, when you're not present, if you're on a trip seeing family or doing other trips, Gianna always comes to me and says, Mommy, will you pray with me like Daddy does? And I slip into your role, and it's peaceful. It's peace for her and for me in our home.
And I realize a lot of people watching this maybe don't have a great experience with religion or spirituality. Some people have a lot of negativity around religions because religions sometimes control people and keep you out of connecting with the highest self. Some people call it God, source, Allah. It kind of doesn't matter what we call that source, because in the Tao Te Ching it says the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. So God, I call God God, and some people call God source or Irene. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's the oneness. It's the source that we return to, that we come from. And that's why I want people listening to this to understand that if you don't have a prayer life, you can meditate. I mean, meditation is very similar to prayer. And you can meditate with your family, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend. You literally could just meditate together. And I think that would bring people in closer into the coherent energy that's been able to sustain us for 30 years. I've known you for 32 years. But that
Well,
energy.
the meditative life is coming to me from you, because yesterday when I was walking on the beach, I just put myself in that space of meditating on the love that you give me. And within feet, I looked down and there was a rock the shape of a heart. And it just like, I was so amazed, but then I wasn't, because I was meditating on you and your love. And I mean, really, you could say if I weren't feeling those emotions so strongly, I wouldn't have even seen it. I could have seen anything, a stick, a seaweed.
I guess that's what I want people to understand about a relationship, a marriage, a partnership, is that it's really what you bring into it that helps you stay in it at the right level. And if people in the relationship have eyes to see this and they're expecting it and you anticipate it and you live in with eyes of what I call it synchronistic thinking. Like your mind is so caught up in thoughts, but if you're thinking, especially when you're on a beach or in a walk in nature in the park or with your dog on the sidewalk, if you're allowing yourself to not think about your problems, about the stuff you have to do, the appointments you have, but if you're in nature, because I love John Muir, he says the quickest way to the universe is through a forest wilderness. So if people can have that experience consistently, the hearts are going to show up, feathers are going to show up, safety pins, these little things that the angels that are around you show up for you, just for you in that moment to confirm. Like, what did you feel like when you found this heart? What was the confirmation to you?
That I was in a meditative state thinking about how much you love me,
And I
and
do.
and I was feeling it. And I knew, I guess the first thought was you were working and I wanted you with me. So that's the total candid, but you know, you had to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, it'd be so wonderful if you were with me. And then I decided, okay, well, I could feel that, or I could think about meditate on the love that you give to me, provide to me. And that's when then I saw the rock.
That's what's so beautiful is that you chose a habit. Like,
Yeah.
that's another thing in a relationship. I don't know if you can speak to this, but I know I can, being married to you and being in love with you for so long. We have really good habits and rituals in our relationship and our marriage, especially with our daughter and with our dog who's asleep over here. We have good habits and rituals that help us sustain our love. I think a lot of folks get caught up in their kind of this divergent living where I got my thing, you got your thing, we have no commonality. So then you just kind of grow apart. But if we have familial habits that we do in our family, and then we do, I know we have our own rituals and routines with each other.
I know that if something isn't feeling right, I have some go-tos with you that always work. It's so easy.
What?
Love language, make Billy a deli sandwich. And I mean, I know it sounds trivial, but if we're having tension and I do that and I extend that olive branch, it puts us in the right direction to get back together again. So that's one of my secret
That's a
ones.
good one because Des is,
And you always say thank you.
yes.
You always say thank you. So then I feel better right there.
That's a good point because I think a lot of people in marriages, they just kind of take the other person for granted and they expect it and they feel like, oh, well, I did this for you. I mean, went grocery shopping and I unloaded all the groceries and I did it for you. So why should I say, she didn't say thank you for that? They're like, but remember when you and I were at the CALM, Child Abuse Listen Mediation, this wonderful nonprofit in Santa Barbara, which helps children of abuse. And you and I sat next to Cecilia Rodriguez. She'd been the director, I think, for 40 years. And remember, I was DJing it. We sat at this table, and you know me, anytime I talk to a couple that's been married over 20 years, I ask them what the secret is. And it's in the book, The Now-ist. It's in that book. It's called The Relationship Sink or Sail. And I asked Cecilia, and she, out of interviewing 100 couples, she gave me my favorite answer. Do you remember what it was?
To what is the secret of love and marriage?
What was her secret? Remember, she told us?
Don't keep score.
That's it. You're so good. Don't keep score. We were sitting there and you're sitting there and I'm talking to her and her husband. She says, we don't keep score. If he goes and washes the car, he doesn't expect me then to go walk the dog to kind of like quid pro quo, this for that. She says, we always find ways to be of service to the other person. And not just in a love relationship. You could do that in a business relationship, an intimate relationship of any kind, a family, just not keep
Well,
score.
and being of service, but also how you view it. I remember folding laundry one time and I think I was lamenting doing it. And you said, well, what if the feeling was related to what you're folding? I'm folding Gianna's little t-shirt that we bought on this fabulous family vacation. And then now it's this sentimental, I get to fold this shirt of our daughter that we created with God. And instead of this being a laborious task, I don't want to fold laundry. So I really think my thinking about how I do things with you, for you, it's a different feeling and meaning behind it.
We have to have a short memory, don't we? In our love relationship or any relationship, You have to have a short memory because I think people get so caught up in what I've learned is the thinking is the lie and the feeling is the
Mhm.
truth because your heart is the most magnetic part of your body. It's what connects us all this time.
Well, thinking about some of our worst fights ever,
Oh, we've had some big
and
ones.
you literally grabbed me in the moment, bear hugged me, and, most people would push that away. I just felt my heart and my hot-headedness dissipate to that embrace. That really works for me, and
You said it earlier, the love language, right?
mhm,
Like people need to solicit their love language in a relationship, intimate relationship, family relationship,
mhm,
business relationship. Like, what is the love language? What is your language of communication with the person? And a
mhm,
lot of people don't even make that kind of understood at the beginning of the relationship. Like, what a concept for a new married couple or a new partnership in business or new boyfriend girlfriend, relationship or girlfriend girlfriend boyfriend boyfriend relationship. What if you say, hey, what is our love language? What is our communication language? When things start to go off the rails,
mhm.
can we come back to an understanding?
Yeah.
Like you and I just kind of by luck, I think, figured out our love language. From a big Italian family. Food's easy for me. I
Yeah.
know you're so fit. You need to run. You need to
Yeah.
swim in the ocean. You need to breathe.
Mhm.
I know when you're working too hard and
But giving to you what I know you say, "Oh, is it okay if I go play golf?" I know you're gonna come back, so energized, you got some exercise, you love that game, the challenge, it brings you joy. Recognizing, like, you need that in your week. It's something you just need, and
that's another thing in a relationship. I think that most people have, if we're having that huge divorce rate of almost 60%,
mm,
there's a disconnect between that
mhm,
and between what I know you need and then being aware of what you need and then you being aware of what I need and then allowing us to be separate and together at the same time. Like,
mhm,
I'm not leaving you just because I'm like, they call it the golf widow, or I just want to get away from you and I just want to play golf and then come home to the ball and chain. It's not like that. And when you go off and run and do races and swim, and I
mhm.
understand, like, it feeds your soul. People in a relationship need to know, like, what's the
Yeah.
love language? What is this kind of this strategy we set up for each other? And
Mhm.
what are the kind of non-negotiables? Like, if you're going out to race or run, I understand. It's like, I'm not going to try and negotiate with you so I can selfishly get your time when I know you need that for your life.
Mhm. Well, the balancing of the time, if you can keep the balance, then it there's no animosity. It's an appreciation, it's a rejuvenation, it's refreshing, and you do kind of say when I'm teaching, I'm not as present. During the summer, I'm wife of
Well,
the year.
well, you're
So,
humbly, you're the county teacher of the year. You were the
yeah.
county teacher of the year. So I know you give everything to your students at San Marcos High School. Shout out, go Royals. That you give so much to the
Mm.
kids that how could it not be draining? And you're a
Well,
physical education teacher.
mm.
And I know you are physically fit, but you also through osmosis around these kids, but you give them everything.
You don't make me feel uh, guilty for doing that. I don't know if other spouses are able to be so mind of service like you are. You just step up. So I'm giving extra hours to teenage kids in crisis, and you see them on the street saying, "Hi, Mrs. Mandarino," and then you see the payoff of it. But I come home and you took care of things that a normal wife would take care of because you already know the service circle, evidently. But I don't know, Billy, if out there in the 50% of the divorce rate, if people really get it like you get it.
I mean, that's my whole intention. Thank you to Alejos behind the cameras. Love you, Alejo. Synchro, bro. It was his idea for us to have this
Mhm,
podcast. And I love it how I didn't think about it because I think, well, this is kind of our intimate time. Like we have this special relationship. We're blessed to have this relationship. And we've been almost divorced many times, right? I mean, think about it. Like we've had gnarly fights
mhm,
but thank you, Alejo, for bringing this idea because I feel like when you can share an authentic space, a married couple that's been married as long as we have,
mhm,
there's clues. Tony Robbins says, you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you want to accomplish something or be successful at something. You just look at somebody who's had success in that area,
mhm,
model what they did, and then you can just use these lessons to whether you want to be a professional athlete or a rock star or a musician, a painter, a poet, teacher, whatever you want to become a master at. You need to glean the information from people that have
mhm,
done what you want to do. And I say that
mhm,
humbly to the audience and to the viewers and listeners because I just know that divorce is just an epidemic across the world, and something's breaking down. People are missing something. There's no way that it's a flip of a coin when you go all
Yeah.
across. It's a 50-50. Like the audience is out there, the altar
Mhm.
is there, and they're in love in the moment, and they forget. I mean, I guess you and I kind of come back a lot to, even though our honeymoon was 30 years ago, we do come back to intimate times. We come back to good rituals, healthy connections, back to, I guess, those moments when we weren't so caught up in the world.
Well, and the relationship just changes through time. Like I feel such a different feeling about you the first 10 years, the second 10 years, now the third 10 years. There's a maturation that goes there. You can still like create that giddy little feeling in me, of course, in the beginning, but I feel it's easier to say in the beginning, "Oh, you're the love of my life," or "You're my soulmate," or "You're the one I hope it to be this beautiful, great thing." But after the time has passed and you've gotten some calluses and love wounds and made mistakes, and you still loved me and you were unconditional with me. And when you were hospitalized, it was horrible not having you. And in a way, curse and blessing at the same time to not have you. It was so difficult to not have you in this home and be a mother and be a wife without you, that when you came back, it made things so much more eternally concrete for me. So what you always say, bless your problems. You say it and I get mad at you when I'm in the problem. Like, don't say that. It's so frustrating. I'm walking out of the room, Billy Mandarino. But it's true. I know, and the more that I've been learned in that process, bless the problem, because it's very hard for me. I'm in the traffic, I have an issue, but I do if I have the faith. If I really have the faith, okay, yeah, I did not get to go on that plane. Plane delay ruined our trip. Well, maybe that wasn't my plane.
I love that
So,
because Thich Nhat Hanh has this exercise he does with people and couples and relationship. I guess with people in general, but I know it works for relationships. Is he has the person hug somebody for like 30 seconds, and you're heart to heart, and you're meditating on their physical body being gone. This is an exercise that Thich Nhat Hanh
mm,
taught people when he was alive
mm,
about focusing on mortality and focusing on the presence you have there. But then while you're hugging them, imagine that this is the last time you're ever going to hug them. And imagine how the present moment would just crush into that moment, just dive you
mm.
fully, all your awareness would just dive into this moment, hugging somebody who you love and their mortality, but meditating on this physical body no longer being there. Imagine how
So
you,
you're in the hug and you're actually thinking this is the last
yes,
moment I'm
yes,
embracing you.
yes.
Okay, well, when we come in and out of the house, whether it's to take out the trash or go to the store, we always get that kiss. We always get that hug. Are you doing that?
No, I just
No.
learned
Okay,
about
you
this
okay.
recently, but I just
Eh,
loved it.
yeah, the
I
feeling
loved
of
it.
that.
I do that, I guess, intuitively and naturally I do it
Just knowing
because
like
being obsessed with being a Now-ist, being obsessed with
mhm,
teaching this and bringing this into the world,
mhm,
knowing that every moment is the last moment because you'll never get this moment again.
yeah.
Like right now, this is it. It's over.
Yeah.
You have to meditate on the present moment consistently.
Mhm,
But Thich Nhat Hanh, being one of the most brilliant Buddhist teachers that ever lived, he was in his 90s, I think, when he passed, but he always had these really simple, that's a Buddhist precept, simplicity.
mhm,
If not now, when? Right? I mean, they would actually go up behind in Zen teachings and they would have them meditate, then they would smack them with a stick from behind. But if you're truly present, you could sense their presence and they would like catch the stick or they would be
mhm,
present and not need the whipping because they would know that they're there. But that's what we do in our life, that we get so
mhm,
caught up in the thinking mind, and the thinking mind takes you down these linear paths of past, future, what happened to me, how you wronged me in some way,
mhm,
and I'm like dwelling on that, so I'm going to hold a grudge. I mean, you have to be fiercely present. That's why I
mhm,
love Thich Nhat Hanh's example of hugging people with such gratitude and such appreciation for them, and heart being the most magnetic part of your body, and the heart's what connects us mostly. And that we wear these things, these wedding rings that have 30 years on them. And that vein is called the Venus Amoris. and it's the most rich supply of blood in your whole body, and it goes right to your heart. And that's why we wear our wedding rings on that finger. So I think about the heart, the connection I have with you in love, and then hugging somebody. I just hope people listening and watching that they will hug people at a different level now with this information we bring.
Well, there's definitely a reluctance. In years past, I was teased like, Dessa, you don't really hug very good. Thought that's a strange comment coming, but right, everybody's family. How often you say I love you? I mean, I know our family. I love you, I love you. We say it so readily and freely and happily, joyfully. Gianna went out in the real world and she's hugging people and they step back and she says, I love you to all her friends. And I think in the beginning, for a lot of people, it's really uncomfortable if it's not their norm. But then as the relationship builds, they become that verbal lover too. It's so great. I love watching that because it's a shift.
What a gift that, I mean, because we give her the example because we don't know any other way. My father,
Yeah.
my Nana,
Sister godmother Wendy.
amen. Girl, I'm so blessed with the 7 siblings. I mean, Neil, my best friend, the moment man, I call him the 7th sibling. But it's Cindy, Mindy, Wendy, Billy, Gibby, Jenny.
Yeah.
Those are my brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah.
It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But my brothers and sisters, we were all taught love. And my dad hugged from a little child. My Nana hugged. I was brought up around the loving connection of the big Italian family. And if you're not an Italian family, if you're different, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what nationality, it just matters the passion that you have for your loved ones. And the fact that Gianna, just by osmosis, that's what we do. And now she's bringing it into the world. That's what you would hope, I guess, for your child, right?
Well, and the simplicity of it, it's, sharing this, hugging, anybody think, oh, no big deal. But it is, because it's a pause. It does bring you to the now. It could be writing the card. All the times you've written me a song and you sang me a song, words for me from your soul. Okay, what has me in the ground in puddles of tears, of joy, emotion. And my writing you love letters and cards.
You're a great poet. We had a long distance relationship for 2 years.
You never lived in the same city till we got married.
You were in UCSB and I was in Santa Cruz. I drove down. It was like a hard 2 years to know that you're my soulmate, but you're in college and I live up there and I didn't have a lot of money. I was working construction and with my family, which was amazing, but the funds are all about, I called it the Platinum Chariot of Love, which I called my car, remember?
I too.
Because the license plate on it was like PLC, which I said Platinum Chariot, PCL, Platinum Chariot of Love.
To get to me.
Exactly, that was my chariot that was bringing me down. I think I made 30 trips. It's 276 miles from Santa Cruz to Santa Barbara.
I don't know how you can drive 4 hours straight and never stop.
I did so many times with very little money.
And I would cry when you left.
It was such...
Because I didn't know when you were going to be on a roof building your uncle's homes or back in my arms.
Oh, it was a lot of... That's a test by... That's why we say bless your problems, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, man, this is so hard. She's the one. I had no intention of marrying you or getting involved or even getting a relationship when I met you. I wanted a record deal. I mean, I was all focused on that. Remember, we met in Lake Havasu, Arizona, March 28th, 1992. I'll never forget it. We're going through Copper Canyon in Havasu, and you're in a pink tube top. Is that right? Or is it orange?
Yeah.
It's pink. Yeah, and you're on the bow of a boat, and I'm on a jet ski with my cousin, and we're rolling through Copper Canyon, and there's this amazing, gorgeous, hot blonde. She had a Coors Light in her hand, I think.
Who didn't? It was spring break.
She did. But I was just like, whoa. And I just kept going, right? I think we nodded. And
Oh, I saw you.
yeah, we just...
Oh, I saw
I was all like a drow rat.
Oh,
I mean, I was like
no.
jet skiing. So, but every night, right, there was reflections. The Holiday Inn. This is 92. That was like kind of the only club in town, right?
It was.
And so every night, there were 2 nights, right? It was spring break.
Yeah.
And you were with your boyfriend, Doug, at the time. Well, you weren't really
Good friend.
Good friend. So he wasn't your boyfriend. But as far as I knew at the moment, that was your boyfriend. Because this guy was huge. He was yoked. He had a blonde flat top. He looked like Brian Bosworth. I always say, look at this massive. I'm thinking, whoa.
He kept me safe.
Yes.
Until you.
He was God bless you, Doug.
Yeah.
God bless you, Doug. Doug is now in heaven, but God bless Doug. Because if Doug is not bringing you to the river with his sister, we never meet. So he's like one of the greatest people in the world because he brought us together. And I remember going to that reflections and seeing you walk in with him. And I'm with my cousin, and I don't really drink that much. I'm not really a drinker. I mean, that's not what I do. That night I had 7 shots of
Yeah.
tequila. I was smoking cigarettes. I was so out of my mind because my cousin was kind of a bad influence at the time, and we were just both being crazy, and we were in spring break. I had no intention of having a girlfriend. I was singing at Planet Gemini, trying to get a record deal. My whole
That
life
was one
about-
of the first things that I was so drawn and attracted to you was your singing. So we were on the dance floor that night. You'd asked Doug if you could dance with his friend. I can't
Liquid
believe.
courage.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he said yes. So we go, and you were singing, and then you told me and gave me a cassette tape with your
My
songs.
phone number on it.
And I mean, the moment I put that cassette in, I knew in your voice and your tonality and your passion, this is a soul like no other.
I'll never forget too, because the lights come on and I ran out to the car to grab my tape of our music, wrote my number on it on the J card. And then you went to the,
This is pre-cell phone.
yeah, oh, no cell phones. Absolutely not. Because remember our phone bills were like $400 a month
horrible.
back then. Our parent, everyone, I had no money. So it's like so much money back then. And then you had written your number on a napkin. And then the lights come on and we exchanged a tape and a napkin. And I remember Doug, you guys were in his truck or van or whatever it was, and the song was on and I was playing, and that's how you kind of drove up with my music playing.
And I was beaming because I knew I just met someone I'd never.
And I didn't call you for a week.
Right.
Remember? I didn't call you for a week. God bless the Kappa Kappa Gammas, your sisters, because my very first date with you was, what was it called?
The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby. I rented a zoot suit with the fedora.
Well, the fact that I invited you and I said you're going to have to dress in a costume, like you were going to go all in.
You have costumes at Halloween.
You were going to go all in or you weren't. And the moment you walked in with that zoot suit and that hat and played the role just perfectly.
And you were in this beautiful flapper dress. I still have the picture.
The red duck.
I still have the picture of us, that very first date.
Yeah.
I still have it from '92 at that. Was it Tucker's Grove?
That was the wine and cheese charcuterie part. And then we went over to the Polo Club for the dance party.
It doesn't seem like it was 32 years ago.
No.
But it was almost 32 years ago about this. It was spring break in March.
And as much fun as that night was, the next day, all my sorority sisters talking about you. How did you find, who is this man? You left such an impression of just charisma and care to all these girls. Like they know you from.
And they were at our wedding, and all 40 of them.
Maybe about 20.
20 came to.
The memory is always bigger.
It is always bigger.
It's always
like
bigger.
a fish, right? The fish was that big. Yeah. So we are at it was right before our dance together, and all these girls do this famous Kappa song called Pat. And they're all performing this song. I'm thinking, those are like your sisters, which are kind of like your real sisters, because they helped me come down, have a place to stay secretly while I was sneaking down.
No boys in the sorority house upstairs.
Nope. The sisters were amazing. So shout out to the Kappa sisters, all of them that helped our love. And that's what it takes in a marriage and in a relationship is like, you got to have a tribe, people that have your back, people that believe in you. I think that's what's missing, and divorce rate is probably so high. And the disillusionment of relationships and marriage is you don't have a crew around you. Like you need a family, you need friends, you need kind of a network, and not a social network. You need like real physical people that support your love.
Well, we didn't have children for how many years of marriage? 11 years, because we wanted to be fully present, committed to each other. We were in that train of belief system. And then when God and Gianna came to our life, my parents believed, people who've been married almost 60 years, you gotta have date night once a week. And they, we're not gonna give our daughter to some babysitter. Who can trust a babysitter? But love care, family, someone who cares about your child as much as you. And those each week, mom and dad having Gianna, so you and I could have our date, not just doing daily life, but really making that time, special time, I know that was key for us.
Yeah, and then people listening, watching, you have to plan. You have to plan according. You have to like
Mhm.
plan events, plan outings. If you're in just a bit new relationship, it's always so easy when it's new, right?
Yeah.
There's no effort. But I think what happens as time wears on, I think the average person gets divorced after 7, 8 years. It
Yeah.
lasts, as you heard, the 7-year itch. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the average lifespan of a marriage. I mean, how sad is that? Maybe that's when people need to double down, even if they're in a relationship or
Mhm.
not married, but they start to take each other for granted. If they don't plan the same things they used to plan, date
Yeah.
night, secret little notes. You'd always send me cool packages
Mhm.
because there was no internet back then, right? There was no like emailing,
Yeah.
texting, was there? I don't even remember.
No,
Feels
no.
like the dinosaur age.
Yeah.
But you would write all these beautiful poems, and I would get these packages in the mail. And people don't write letters anymore.
No,
People don't like
no.
send and they Amazon you something. That's not. There's no. What's the intention and where's the love and the time spent in that?
Mhm.
People, if they want to survive through this divorce crisis we have right now, they got to do something different than the masses. Find out where the masses are going.
Mhm.
Social media, texting, Amazon gifts, and do something different. Like handwrite letters, make something handmade. If
Mhm.
you put that intentionality that you put into that deep into our marriage, you still do it. You still do letters, little love things.
Well,
Like open my medicine cabinet and there's like a little heart in there or something. I mean, special
yeah.
things. Anybody could do that at any level of their relationships. We can't take it for granted.
Yeah. And I mean, the laughter thing that you always bring, I didn't grow up in a family with tons of laughter. I mean, definitely hard work, dedication, good ethics, religion. But the laughter part that you bring in our home, you have me buying you cereal and putting it on your car
CP, cereal party,
because
baby.
you and your best friend have to have cereal parties. So
Gotta have cereal
other
parties.
guys are out drinking beer. You guys are eating cereal and bananas.
I'm never growing up.
It, but
Children.
it makes it so much better to have that light, that levity and lightness of your laughter all the time. I mean, you laugh with Gianna at things that I don't even think are funny, and then but I feel the energetic level, and I'm like, why am I so serious sometimes? So
That's well said because I do think people take their relationships, their personal relationships, public relationships, marital relationships, they take them so serious that they forget to play.
mhm,
Childlike bewilderment, living in that simple, whimsical
mhm,
energy. We do cereal parties because it reminds us of childhood. And even though I'm 57 now, like I still want to be in that young space. And my nana said that she always dyed her hair black. She says, gray's the color of cement, and she would put rouge. She look at herself in the mirror and say, "You're beautiful." Like people don't take the time to love, care, and self-care themselves so
yeah,
that they can pay it forward into the relationship.
mhm,
So if we're doing little things, but people don't do enough things for themselves, I feel like people get so maybe sometimes they're
mhm.
just exhausted from giving to try and make the other person like
Mhm.
feel loved, but they forget to take care of
W
themselves.
I think a roadblock that happens is that you're together so long, you stop really doing this because I know what she thinks about that. I know what his response would be. And so you stop asking certain questions or trying new things. Oh, Billy wouldn't do that. Or my wife doesn't care. So actually rethinking, maybe we are still changing. We're still becoming who we are. Because I know in my 20s, I thought if you got divorced, you weren't dedicated and you were a failure. And then later in my 30s, I had a girlfriend be miserable in marriage, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's giving up. Like I couldn't believe it. I almost took a step back from my friendship. Like, is she not a loyal person? And then I realized the pain and suffering and the emotional crisis of her life day in, day out. And she divorced. And then in my 40s, she's married and happy with kids and flourishing. And I just realized that I've changed so much in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and I think I'm 54 now. In my thinking, eh, you've given me some room to grow. And I think when we had our hardest times, you didn't. It was like
Oh, I never wanted to control.
Billy looking at me,
I want to
I'm
control you.
supposed to be like that, and that control thing was not
Control me.
working for us at all.
It was not working
Yeah,
because it can't work for any relationship
yeah.
because there's no authenticity in that. There's no true, I have your best interests and I care for you at the deepest level.
Mhm.
Like Cecilia was teaching us, we don't keep score. I was keeping score all the
Yeah.
time. How could you do this to me? Like, well, our hard times, because marriage is hard. I mean, don't think that we're giving this flowery picture, because marriage is a lot of work, focus, dedication. We couldn't have made it without our prayer life and God. I give it all to God. I surrendered all to faith in God, and knowing that there are these mystical forces that cover us. I call them guardian angels, the Holy Spirit. There's this energy, but if you have to be of service to somebody, and then when you're feeling like I was feeling, and like you, I know it felt with me, when I feel like I'm being wronged and this is not working, and how can this happen? Like I had to go to the crazy prayer the Hawaiian prayer, Ho'oponopono, because I remember that was the prayer, which is an ancient Hawaiian prayer. Please forgive me. I am sorry.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. I love you. I learned about that book and about that prayer. And I remember when I was feeling so wronged that I just started that mantra. That was the mantra. And it healed me
Brought
to
you.
quit trying to control you. And then you.
And I could feel it.
Then
I
you
could
let
feel
go.
the
Isn't that the
change of
crazy
your
thing?
energy, the energy of being trying so hard to not have me be and do what a certain way, and then it lessening up. It was easier for me.
And nobody wants to be controlled.
No.
You're doing the best you can where you are with what you have. And we are all doing that. That's why in a relationship, why do people, I think people do it from their past trauma, their past experiences. They bring it into their current relationship. And then what do you get? Exactly what you had, because you didn't grow. And then you had to grow through this. I had to grow through the times that I was rough on you. And you gave me that grace. I gave you that grace. But that's the true test of love, I guess. But we can't do it. If it would have been the two of us, these two egos, we'd totally been divorced.
Right.
You know it, right? We would have been divorced.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have made it through if we didn't have a higher power that we called on. Once again, you can meditate, pray. There's so many different ways you can call on that higher self that is part of you, that you're altogether part of that higher self. But you and I both knew intuitively, even through our hardest times, we had to surrender and let go and let God. And thank God we did, because the ego was not going to let us survive.
No. None of this is disconnected from the physical part too of a marriage. In my girlfriend's relationships that the marriage loses the physical part, and then the husband's all upset, and then the wife is out doing, it's just
Oh yeah, we're talking about sex.
yeah, okay, yeah. But it's like, it just happened last week. I'll keep it confidential for comfort zone, but she said to me, yeah, he did this and now he wants me to go have sex. How can I want to go have sex after that just happened? And so it's such a script of intimacy and how you're living your life that then creates the physical, the emotional intimacy, the physical intimacy, and you can't get too far away. I mean, you and I, there's this little time span that goes by, and all of a sudden we look at each other. Okay, that's just way too long.
Yes.
I know what we're doing right now.
Yes.
And I think if you miss that window,
Am I blushing?
yeah. If you miss that window, it gets stranger and weirder for the couple to get back together. And this is a lot of my listening to my friends and family members, and then when we get too far apart, you've got to reel it back in.
Thank God that you said that and that we both are on the same page with that, because I think that's a big problem with relationships. I know the number one cause of divorce is lack of commitment. And that, I think, is probably number two. I mean, that with other things, infidelity.
But it's a barometer. It's not that you need the physical relationship once a week to, it's saying that whatever else isn't happening that needs to happen. So I want to be in that space, which is the most amazing thing.
Physical connection is connected to the energy of your heart. It's the energy of your soul. I mean, talk about healing. There's a healing that happens in that union that you could never go to therapy or meditate or pray or visualize or take some drug. There's some existential, euphoric, divine experience that happens when you unite with your lover that changes everything. And that's, people get out of habits. I think that is another habit, another ritual that we have that we don't let slide. And I think a lot of people
can't let it slide.
No, if you do, what happens? It's just like this slow decline.
Yeah.
And then pretty much you get to a point where you're just not even attracted to the other person. And all of a sudden you're in the court divorcing. It's like not worth it. They have to pay. Luckily, we kind of have set up.
Well, we know when it's happening. We start getting we get like a little irritable.
Disconnected. We feel the disconnection. And everybody can feel it if they just
Mhm.
have the awareness. That's why awareness is so important. You're aware, I'm aware,
Mhm.
but we're also aware in our family unit. And that's important because we ultimately, I think a lot of people try to stay together for the kids. I know it seems like a
Mhm.
weird segue, but I know that that's never the reason to stay together, because you can also show your kids how to be in a loveless relationship that doesn't serve them. And they're going to think this example is how they take
Mhm.
their experience of a relationship into their eventual relationship. And then there's just like this unconscious trauma.
That's heartbreaking to me, by the way. Gianna's friends that come over and they actually will take back to the mother or and say, "Wow, Gianna's mom and dad, they hold hands," or they, and that's another one. If I'm a little off and you just gently take my hand and you hold my hand, you're angry, you push it off a little bit because your ego, right? But then you grab the hand and it's just again a little sign of I'm here and I know we're dealing with something right now. But Gianna's friends and the sadness and not knowing of being in these families where the husband and wife, they don't kiss and they don't hold hands and
But that's probably from their teaching from their family, and maybe
probably.
their grandparents teaching to their parents. And
Mhm.
it's this generational kind of disconnection, I think,
Mhm.
or it's just like the rules of what relationship in a marriage is. And the reality is we need to connect at an intimate level consistently, like
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, spiritually, even financially. I mean, you have
Mhm.
to have this connection in this all-encompassing relationship if people are going to survive, because the world's trying day and night to make it just like them, to make the world just like them, which is addicted, disconnected, focused on things that don't matter about the family unit. That's why having a meal together at night, I think, is so important. And we do that as much as we can. But if more families, I think, had dinner together or breakfast together and then pray
And
together.
two, you shut it off when if I want to watch the news again or get in the world of negativity, you you bring in something positive, like a quote, a book. You come in with your guitar. I'm making dinner. I might be really tired, 10 hours of teaching students, and I know I want to make dinner for the family. It's actually kind of relaxing to me in a way, but the stress that is in the day and you pick up your guitar and I look out and this is what I get to see. I get to see my husband, who is a spiritual the leader of our home, bring music bring music to a big day. And I don't know what to tell people who don't play instruments or
But
bring
wait,
music,
so let's think
but
for a moment.
but
Well,
so,
let's think about people out there that have a different relationship or have troubles in their rituals or their practices. Like they need something. I mean, I guess you could read a book, you could quote poetry,
yeah,
you could turn off the TV is the best thing to do. Don't let the
I
news be
know.
playing in the morning when you wake up, while you're eating dinner. Don't flood your home with negative energy.
Mhm,
I mean, shutting that up. Silence is God's one and only voice.
mhm.
Silence. So what if there was some peace, and then you influence the room with poetry, a book. Somebody just read a book out loud. You could tell a story, a
Can
joke.
candles, open the window, get some fresh air, going for the walk. I know during COVID, one of our best things that we did, it was new for us. We would just go walk for miles in that forward focused flow, breathe, talk, and we're talking about things we wouldn't have been talking about if we were just sitting on the couch.
I wonder if the divorce rate would be so high if people did take walks in nature together
Mm,
when they're having problems,
yeah.
when it's really getting dark. If
We
they,
did that once. Remember? We went up,
I know.
I don't know if it was Rattlesnake Canyon, but I
Oh,
remember
up in the,
we were having a
yeah.
really tough time
Hmm.
and I don't know, we just went out there and that hike was pretty pivotal. We let go of some heavy things and walked and talked and breathed. Um,
There's something about
yeah,
nature, isn't there?
yeah.
Something about being at the beach, a park, the woods.
Mhm,
There's something in there for all of us, I think, to connect back to what we come from,
mhm.
which is this divine universal energy that you can't connect to it in four walls usually. You cannot connect to it if you're old
It's
routine.
harder.
You need to interrupt the pattern. I wonder what stats are on that with people that actually work out together, breathe together,
Yeah.
go swimming,
Well, it's
kayaking.
always so fun to go play golf with you out there, and
I wish I could
I
run, but I just can't run with
I
you.
secretly wish we don't get a foursome and that it's, "Oh, you 2 just go," and then when we go, I mean, it's 4 hours that I get to walk with you and green grass and just have fun and see you shoot the ball like a stud. It's very sexy when you do something well. When guitar, hitting a golf. When you hit it really long, super sexy.
I
You
think
know,
people have bad habits with that. I think they don't
they don't get
pay
out.
attention to the death rattle,
Mhm.
which are they're losing attraction. They're always
Mhm.
harping on each other. There's no connection. But that would be the best thing I think for advice that I know in our life. You have your ritual, which is in the physical world, running,
Mhm.
swimming, breathing. I go to the golf course to
Mhm.
walk and carry and have the spiritual experience. I think relationships need to have almost like something set up in the relationship. Or maybe they don't, maybe they're not athletic. Maybe they just like to go see a movie or they want to like blog or write or post or work on a book, but they need to have an agreement, I think, of
Mhm.
what's going to serve us in a marriage when we start to disconnect. Like we luckily have that and we share it together. We love nature. But even if people aren't in love being in nature, there's other things they could do, but they need to set up that agreement with each other.
Agreement and gratitude, the giving. When you do something for our home, and I say thank you to you, it I can't believe how much it affects you. You don't do it for the thank you, but I know because I can feel it. I can feel it. I come home and you've done something. I thank you for it. I really don't know why it's so difficult. And I think couples don't thank each other and appreciate each other for the things. And in fact, I've told Gianna before, hey, can you do such and such chore? And she's told me from watching us, can you not ask me to do the chore? She goes, because it's like kind of this magical thing for me to just see it needs to get done. She does it. And they were like, oh, Gianna folded the laundry. And thank you. So she knows this thing that really worked for us because the marriage is outside in addition to the finance, the religion, the spiritual, the physical, whatever. But you have these daily things that need to get done. And I'll never forget a time when I was again pumped. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go shopping. And then you said, well, I'll come with you. And then you put me in the cart. And then you rolled me around.
Physically in the car?
Yeah, yeah. You put me in the cart.
My
And
memory sucks. I can
this
remember
is
that.
this is a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, and you made something that again that I don't want to do. You made it fun. You brought laughter to it.
You
And
said it. Gratitude is the
but
best
yeah,
multiplier.
right.
I don't
Say
think
say
people are
thank you,
thankful enough.
appreciate it. We have to do all these things in our home. So why don't we just do it with
That goes
gratitude?
back to not keeping score, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not thinking that I have to do this chore
Mm-hmm.
because it's my role and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I just have to do it because I have to do it. But I think, no, I'm going to do it because I want to pay it forward.
Yeah, but what about okay, so you do all these wonderful things for me, but what about these relationships where the spouse they don't do it? And that's I'm in these conversations and I'm trying to be emotional support to a friend. These a lot of relationships they're just not. They have a premeditated this is a man's role, this is a wife's role, and
It's
and
because it's
those
gotten so far,
those are
right?
the relationships that are just doomed. They're doomed and they're not working.
Well, okay, what advice could we give couples that are on the edge? They're losing the love for each other. They're losing the physical connection, intimacy. They're feeling
Mhm.
like maybe they need to get a divorce lawyer. Maybe they got to go to therapy. What's something we could give them, you think, that would help them like,
Well, mom would say go to marriage encounter as a religious thing, but it's actually not so religious. You go, remember when we did it, and you're writing
yes.
for an hour, and then you go sit with your spouse, and you're going to share
So maybe
these
a reset. Maybe they've been married for
reset.
5 years and they're like feeling like maybe they just need to reset. Like, why
Mhm.
don't they go back as if they were getting the day before they're going to get married and they write down what do we like to get
Mhm.
this reset and try and go back to that honeymoon and try and
Mhm.
recreate their day before their marriage, like trying to
Mhm.
reset their marriage. I don't know if people have tried
Yeah.
that, but I think that's a great idea because I
Yeah.
know for us, when we've had our really hard times, I've always felt not that I'm living in a rearview mirror, but I felt grateful for what I have and realizing that it could be gone
Mhm.
and kind of doing the rocking chair test where you imagine you're 90 years old, you're in a rocking chair, you're thinking, man, did I give that marriage everything I had, or was my ego just, writing checks that my marriage couldn't cash and just fixing things for me and not for you? I mean, maybe a reset would help
Mhm.
people kind of restructure what's important to them, and maybe like a hierarchy of values. Like, and if those don't line up, maybe they can adjust their values. Like maybe
Mhm.
for you, it's like family, God, family, adventure, right?
Well,
Spontaneity.
but
Like,
going back to a drawing board, how often does a spouse actually look at someone and say, what do you need or what do you want to do? What's something we haven't done? Instead of going through the motions, redesigning one from Christmas, no, my birthday last year, you bought me that map and we're going to go to each state. We've been married 30 years. I've been to 5 states. Let's go to each state over time, have a new dream, a new plan.
An adventure together.
I love that
Yeah.
map. And I look forward to start putting those pins in there. And when I'm crying and Gianna's gone, we're sad. We're going to miss her. We have to keep designing our own love destiny plan.
I think that's it. People get complacent, don't they?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would cause a marriage, I think, to dissolve, would be they just get stuck in their roles. They don't connect. They live pretty much for themselves. They don't realize that, wait, no, we are one. If you truly are one, and that's what it says when you get married, you're one flesh. You're like one body. You're like one soul. Like the disconnection means you're getting out of that. So yeah, a reset is key. And then you have to plan something new, plan some new adventure. So I love that, because most people, I think, have lost touch with what they really want and who they are.
My deepest hope when someone goes into marriage isn't like one of my friends who didn't hear the music. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm a bridesmaid. I'm standing on the altar and she's ready to go. And the song for the bride doesn't come on. The wedding planner pushes her out. She walks down in a dead silent church. And I guess my deepest hope would be, and she told me after that divorce, I knew he wasn't the one. And, that's making it sound more idealistic, the one, because we're saying you actually make love every day. It's not like you're just lucky or not. But going back to my deepest hope is that the person who is saying I do feels in their heart of heart, this is the person that who they are is why I'm marrying you. Who you are. I know from your kindness or your heart, if a work ethic is important, it is to us. These things that is genuinely why you're marrying the person, you feel like you picked the person who you respect, honor, and you know that they are.
That's you. And I'm so thankful, baby, that you took your time. I know it wasn't like the thing you thought was going to happen, that you're ever going to like be on one of these podcasts, but thank you, Alejo, for inspiring us to be so authentic and in the moment with each other, and just try to share some advice, some love, some ideas with people, because I care for the family unit out there. I care for couples. I want them to stay together for the right reasons. And just, I love you so much, and thank you. God bless you.
Love you so much.